celebrate this as the time of the birth of Jesus. But as we read the nativity stories, I feel there's no need to get too worried about the history of it, because we know in our Unity New Thought teachings, we look at them metaphysically, metaphorically, and all those wonderful characters, the three wise men, the shepherds, King Herod, they're all parts of us as we meet up on our journey to our own inner Christ. I love the story of the Nativity. I went to Sunday school, Methodist Sunday school, from the age of 4. Whether I liked it or not, my father decided and my mother decided they wanted some peace in the house. So the lady next door said, oh, I'll take him to Sunday school. Well, I don't know whether she created a saint or a monster. Afterwards, my father used to say, the first time I actually accidentally swore at home, he said, where did you get that from? He said, I've sent you to Sunday school. You know, you shouldn't be carrying on like that. And so, you know, I said, well, why did you send me? And he jokingly said, so your mother and I could get some peace and quiet. And we know, of course, that I think it's the Jesuits, if you get a child from the age of 7, you've got them for life. Well, not always the case, but there are still some things that we need to process that pop up from time to time. And where they come from and why they're still there, I don't know, after all the metaphysical studies I've done, but thank goodness we're aware of it. I think my first adventure was with the three wise men. In our Sunday school, we had a sand pit. We had 3 very creative ladies that used to run the local milk bar as our Sunday school teacher. One of them played the organ, which of course fascinated me from the word go when I first saw it. And the other one was a great storyteller. And I won the prize because my camel was the first out of the 3 to get to the manger. We had a little, like a chess game. And my camel went there and this other camel went there. So I was the first to the manger. I still dine out on that. But anyway, we take these stories metaphysically. And that's the great meaning with all these Advent characters. This is symbolically, at this time, the first day of Advent, that the 3 wise men were called to follow a star that no one else could see. King Herod couldn't see it, and other people on the way couldn't see it, but they could. Charles Fillmore writes in The Revealing Word, the star represents humankind's first awakening before we realize our wisdom and power. Now, how many journeys have we already taken seeking spiritual illumination? Countless. How many gurus have we been to? Shamans, pyramids, broken dreams, one new book, one new film, one new DVD. We keep going to them all, still searching for what? But even those journeys were a step on our unfoldment. But our soul urge never stops and is always calling us, whether we're aware of it or not. And here we are at this point in time. So, what star are we following? Now, the media create a frenzy of the cult of the personality. It used to be mainly film stars, sports stars, recording stars, but now it's superstars. And these have become the models for mainstream society. And we follow these stars at our own peril. I looked through the entertainment section now of the papers, and I wouldn't know who won the Emmys or who won the Grammy Awards. I don't know the singers. And I just look at some of the frightening names they've got, and I realise I'm starting to sound like my parents did when they first heard the ridiculous songs I'd listened to. Who wears short shorts, the Purple People Eater, and Rock Around the Clock? My goodness. You know, I remember there's a song called A Mission Bell by some chap, and the words were, my love is higher than a mission bell, and the girly chorus would sing, how high? And lower than a wishing well, how low? And my father, who had a typical Glaswegian sense of humour, he said, the reason they're singing is there because a guy can't remember his words. And, you know, I had to put up with that sort of sense of humour. It sounds better with a Glaswegian accent, I can tell you. So now this star that we're going to follow and have been following, because it's been there whether we can see it or not, you know what I'm going to say. It's a still small voice. And as we heard in Leslie's class just recently, how does it speak to us? It speaks to us in any way we can understand. Many times you might have heard a song, but it might be a particular time of day. And if that song hits us and it resonates with us like never before, I'm big on that. And I was looking for songs for Advent, and I'm still looking, and the right songs will come up as the weeks go on. So that's the star we follow. However, we don't always follow it, do we? But we take the consequences if we don't. What a blessing to know who we are. Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind writer, says, we don't come fully orbed into this life. We're a work in process. We may have been born perfect. We're the Immaculate Conception, but our soul's journey is to express more and more of that perfection as we expand in consciousness, knowing we are each an individual expression of that one presence and one power, and we put that into action. 1945, they discovered the Nag Hammadi Gospels, and in it was the Book of Thomas. And in it, Jesus has a special disciple with him. All the others are over the other side, but Jesus is talking to this disciple, and he had something that he just wanted this disciple to say. Then the other disciples, when the talk was over, said, what did he say? What did he say? And he said, if I told you, I don't think you could handle it. And I'm inclined to think, as sometimes when we look through the Unity 5 principles and other ancient wisdom texts, it dawns on us that we are responsible for our own creation. Now, we're still in the month of elimination and renunciation, and I find myself going through all this old stuff, beautiful old things, Unity magazines, old records, cassettes, and all that sort of stuff from 20 to 30 to 40 years ago, if not more. And I'm really concerned because some of it I want to keep. And I know the best thing to do is to just not even look at it. But I've got all these old Unity magazines, and before I pass them on, I want to have a good look at them because there's so many articles that are timeless, regardless of who's fashioned in the personality cult of whatever we're doing now, of metaphysics even, who doesn't matter. The truth is still there in those early magazines, going back to 2000. There was a heap of them left in the minister's office there. And I looked at it now and the Butterworth stuff and all the other early writers. It's just wonderful. And I found some timeless gems. One in particular, you may or may not know. I'd like to share a poem written by that Unity minister and poet James Dillett Freeman, a poem written in 1969 called The Hilltop Heart. God made us the perfect seed. He did not make us the perfect tree, but the perfect seed. He did not make us as we might have been, but as we might become. So it's up to us to become. We're already called up higher, but we're looking at it symbolically now as the first day of Lent, this approximately 40-day journey. But when our time to be called up higher happens, It may not be on December the 25th. It may be any particular time. That date was just a date made up by the early church fathers in their collective wisdom. It can happen at any time. And a saying I always read, because I really have to be careful how I say it. It is in consciousness, not in time, in mind, not in place, that perfection is realized. And it has to come. And this has to come before that. And it's one step at a time, as the song following my talk will allude to. So as Advent begins, we start our 4-week journey to Christmas Day. And the dominant note is expectation. This is symbolized by the lighting of 4 candles. And we have the 4 candles here, and I'll describe them to you. The first candle we light is hope and faith. Some refer to it as faith, some refer to it as hope, but they seem to work in together, so that's how I'll deal with it this year. From Hebrews 11, verse 1. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for the conviction of things not seen. This is the hope of Christmas, that our travels will lead to the fullness of the light within us. And through this light, we are able to travel to the Christ within us. The second candle, there on the left, is the symbol of peace. This is often referred to as the Bethlehem candle. Each day is now a step on our inner journey as we prepare to find and express more of the same Christ that Jesus and other way showers were taught and lived. And the third candle, December the 13th this year, is the angel's candle, signifying love. And the lighting of this candle symbolizes the release of God's power in us as we expand even more in our spiritual awareness. Thomas Troward writes in his book, Bible, Mystery and Meaning, and I find this very profound. The individual mind is not the creator of the power, but the distributor of it. So that puts us back in our place, doesn't it? We didn't create this power, and we can do what we like with it. It's up to us. But we also take the consequences of how we use it. What a gift. A magic gift. As I say, the individual mind is not the creator of the power, but the distributor of it. So for a full knowledge of spiritual law, it's essential if we would realize the fruits of the Spirit. I used to know these once, but I've written them out just in case. Love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and moderation. So as we read in the Bible, just as the infant love grew to full stature through Jesus, so does that same love grow through us to become fully blown. And in Unity New Thought, we see Jesus as the great example, not the great exception. You've heard me say that before. I like saying it, so I'm going to say it again. We see Jesus as the great example, not the great exception. Now, the fourth candle December the 20th, my birthday. This symbolizes the shepherd's candle, which symbolizes joy. As the shepherds joyfully heard, we can also hear the angel's message that the Christ is born within us. At the completion of Advent, another candle is lit, and this is called the Christ candle. It is usually lit on Christmas Day, but we will light it on the fourth Sunday as well. This candle represents the light of the Christ in us, and it joins the brightness of the flame of hope, peace, love, and joy. It is a culmination of all the desires and expectancy of each of us as we are now born into the Christ flame. This Christ light within us, waiting to be lit. So now we light the first candle on our journey, the candle of hope and faith. And we have a slide here. It's a virtual candle today. And Leslie, do you have that daily word? Could we read the middle bit of that for us? Thank you. It seems to fit here beautifully.
Did you want it all read, Bill?
No, just the blurb. Prayer. Just the main paragraph.
As Advent season begins, my thoughts turn to faith. I believe in my capacity to be hopeful, assured, and strengthened as I embark on this journey of faith.
And I'll say the rest of it. Faith keeps me open to discovering reasons to have hope, even when I do not see any evidence for my hopelessness. Faith gives me the reassurance that my indwelling divinity will lead me to accomplish all that I set out to achieve. Faith fortifies me with the necessary strength to transcend my limited human knowledge, allowing divine wisdom to guide my thoughts and actions. So we keep that in mind as we go through this week. Some great thoughts as we step out, one step at a time, through our Unity Advent journey. Thank you, Wayne. So to sum up, we follow the light within, and as we do, we learn to live in harmony with the universal spiritual laws. These laws are the basis of all religions and spiritual groups, regardless of their robes, rituals, creeds, or cultures. The law of cause and effect. How to create abundance in our life. The power of our thoughts and feelings. The law of giving and receiving. And most of all, the golden rule, the golden law. Love God, our Creator, and love our fellow man. The simple truth, is it? Might sound simple, but to put it into practice is what we are here for. And I remember my early days in Unity and New Thought, when I was anxious about prosperity and things like that. I used to affirm prosperity, $1 million, great car, and all this sort of stuff for me. But now I feel, and I think we've learnt this over the last year, it's not only for us we affirm it for, we affirm it for all our fellow travelers on the way. And we can do that. And I'm looking forward to this year, 2020, finishing, as most of you probably are, and starting the next year full of zest and vigor, and including more people and welcoming more people into our wonderful Unity New Thought teachings. So what a great gift awaits us when we follow that inner light, that inner star, and accept the full power of our own indwelling divinity. As I said before, This doesn't happen overnight. Mightn't happen over 4 weeks. And we know that in the Bible, the number 40 is used a lot. And that is a period of time, symbolic period of time. So however long it takes, it's built up with little steps, one step at a time. So here's a song when we had the 50th anniversary of Unity in Melbourne, and we had quite a few interstate people with us. And this song is called One Step at a Time.